you should write a definition, differentiate. So we can start, simply we can start with, if you talk about a structure, one structure is start with ethical dilemma. Define ethical dilemma. Define it, this, then define ethical, that issues, then compare it, right, ethical dilemma, right, ethical issues, and then it says that how examples civil, the context of civil services with appropriate example. After comparing, then you write about civil services. Civil services, this, or this you can write here itself. So no need to go this way. Here itself you can write about example. What is ethical dilemma? Here itself you can write ethical issues, example. What can be ethical issues? So this in the context of civil services. Once you are done with this, then you write the difference. And after writing the difference, then you give conclusion. This. So that is how it should be structuring. Now, since already you have been writing as far as examples are concerned, so already you have been writing lots of case studies in which you have to find, you have to write ethical issues and ethical dilemmas. So we don't think that as far as examples are concerned, you will struggle. But let's say that as far as comparison is concerned, let's say between this and this, I have seen some answers. And I find that people are not able to conceptually differentiate between ethical dilemma and ethical issues. So you need to have that conceptual clarity. So ethical dilemma is a dilemma in which the two, let's say, competing values in a challenging situations, and a civil servant has to take a decision. So then he is in a dilemma. It can be law versus compassion. Very easy example. Already in theory section also you have given. Any civil servant can face challenge between conduct rules versus compassion. This or conduct rules versus conscience. There can be a situation like this. So that can be a dilemma, and it is a challenging situation. Then let's say that ethical issues are related to compromise. When we say ethical issues, the ethical issues are nothing but compromise of values. It can be compromise of values, you can say. Whenever there is a compromise of values, which can happen, we deliberately compromise or we observe any, let's say, compromise of such value. This, or when we are in ethical dilemma and once we take a decision after ethical dilemma, suppose law versus compassion and one takes a decision. Or let's say that a civil servant, a police officer faces a situation of encounter. And then at that encounter, it happens that he faces dilemma. Somehow it is an encounter-like situation and a civil servant faces a dilemma that what he should do, whether he should become compassionate. So whether he should become compassionate, so when he becomes, suppose, compassionate, then the person who is there in, let's say, the culprit, you can say, or any such criminal, etc., that police is trying to arrest. So that person, suppose police becomes a bit soft, then the person can fire, and suppose there is an injury to any police person. So then it may result into, let's say, you can be questioned, your leadership can be questioned. So your dilemma you face, law versus compassion, but you showed a bit of compassion, you became soft, and by the time, let's say, there is a firing from that side, and firing happens, it can be even injury, even a death, it can happen. So when then your leadership will be questioned. So your being soft can become an ethical issue. This. Hence, let's say that ethical issues and ethical dilemma, the difference is that it is before decision, it is generally, let's say, after decision. This is the major difference. It is before decision, it is after decision. It is only related to decision. It is when we have a decision making, then we face ethical dilemma. But as we told you, ethical issues can happen different ways, three different ways. One, there is a compromise of ethical issue. The second, that when we take any decision, so after, let's say, take a decision making, then it results into ethical issue. We, let's say, take a not a very appropriate decision. And secondly, we can observe, let's say, organization in general, it can happen. We are not responsible. Let's say your organization is responsible, or let's say that institution, police fails to protect life of people. So it is considered as ethical issue. And if there is a trafficking, child labor, it is considered as ethical issue. So in which a person is directly not involved. So we are not directly involved in here. Yes. So these things can be ethical issue. Now, in one, let's say that aspect, we can say that where it is matching, it is related to decision making. It is not necessarily related to decision making. This a person's decision making. Here it can be compromised. It can be related to decision making. This a person may compromise without facing ethical dilemma. So, ethical issues and ethical dilemma, they have differences, because ethical dilemma is related to before decision. Ethical issues are not necessarily related to before decision, rather it may arise after taking decision when there is compromise of any value. And civil servants can deal such situations better by application of their conscience, conduct rules, and emotional intelligence in a given situation, and they can take appropriate decision. They can take appropriate decision. So that is how it can be answered.